Hey, boy.
Oh wait, there's no music.
What you doing, baby? Oh,
God damn it.
oh.
You suck.
What the fuck is happening in my life?
This was turned down. The music was not running.
All right.
The Drunkle
How is that brutal fuckery?
The Drunkle Edition. All right, now we're here for realsies.
Hi.
Hey, how's it going? Welcome to the PoHo podcast. My name is Brendan Kuris, accompanied by Randy Willis. This is our 6th episode, I believe. Last week,
What was the thing? Did it even make it to 7-year gold?
Brutal Fattery told us that most podcasts do not make it past 7 episodes.
Dude, we're going at least
So
8 or 9.
we're getting close to the threshold of failure.
It's not the first time, won't be the last time for us, bud.
The MTTF in IT they call it the mean time to failure. So in the world of podcasts, it'd be 7 episodes. On classic spinning platter hard disk drives, it was like in the thousands and thousands of hours was the mean time to failure. But anyways, so last week's episode was pretty much a live show.
That goes awesome.
I was hoping to have
Billy.
I was hoping to have a little interview with him up here before we had the show, but just there was not enough time. Everything got crunched, so we just pretty much started the show with we went straight into Fishy's set.
Yeah, dude, that was the welcome coming to you.
Boom, we just went live straight to music, and so we had Fishy from Hamtramck, which, yeah, they had really cool drum programming, like some interesting different types of percussion sounds, and everything was programmed themselves. So I liked it. It was cool. And yeah, Third Seven from Colorado. He told us that he has been playing music professionally, as in his full-time, that's his full-time job. For, I want to say he said 16 years he's been doing it. So imagine.
That's why I don't have a TED Talk.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah, he had a TED Talk. So if you feel so inclined, you can hop on YouTube and check out last week's concert. It was very cool. That was the Schwonk's summer soiree. We will soon have the Schwonk September soiree, and then we are having a hip hop October soiree.
Stop. Who's on that bill?
That is going to be Wave Generators, which is a new project from
Don't do the drum roll.
his name is escaping me. Hip hop guy from New York.
Dude.
Freaking
Stop.
Hike Keach.
Yes.
Hike Keach.
My man.
I remembered it before I had to look it up. Yay.
I love him, dude.
So Hike Keach was supposed to come through 2 years ago, I think, but pandemic stuff got in the way.
Don't stop. I'm tired of the P word.
So yeah, there were conflicts. So he is returning in October 20th, I believe, is a Sunday, and he is in a project called Wave Generators with another artist. So it will be Wave Generators, Hike Keach, and then we're gonna have Blacktivity. And one other possible touring artist, which I will not announce yet because we are confirming. But yeah, that's what went on last week episode. Sorry there was no conversation, but we just simply had to work on getting the music production going. So and it definitely, it's legit. It's some pretty awesome performances. So I would recommend that. And our future shows. So today's show we're going to. So last week we kind of focused on what we do live, with hosting live music downstairs and broadcasting it on this channel. Today we're going to focus on what we do in the studio, besides just bullshitting and talking like we did through episodes 1 through 4. Episode 5 we had the person running the charity north of here, and then episode 6 is this one or something. Yeah. Whatever. 6 is now. Last week was 5. Before that was the lady, and then we had episodes 1 through 3. But so we're gonna mix. We're going to. Randy's gonna just, we're just gonna kind of do a rough mix of a song.
How did you prep this for me?
A song that I recorded with my band BIOS. We're kind of the guinea pig here. The music that we introed with is my band as well. And so let me switch over to the studio mixer here. Oops, I don't want to. Well, that's fine. We don't need to see ourselves.
We're gonna do all this.
So basically, so I recorded all these tracks with the band. We have 2 guitars, a bass player, and a drum kit. This was recorded all live. So we were set up in the room and we played through the whole song live, and everything's tracked live. So my approach was to try to do something different. In honor of Steve Albini, I've been going back and kind of looking at his techniques and his as far as mic positioning and everything. So something I realized for the longest time is like, man, he would farm mic guitars or things in general, but especially guitar cabinets. Instead of like, you get so used to putting a microphone right on a speaker, and that's more of like a live or like a sound reinforcement or like a live stage situation where you want that signal, you want that signal right from the amp. You don't want to pick up anything else on the stage. The stage is very loud, and you also don't want the performers to kick the mic stands or whatever. So you have everything very close mic'd. In the studio, we're trying to recreate, what we're hearing off the cabinet. So in this case, I have all the microphones like 10 to 12 inches away from the speaker cabinet. So I gave everything a little bit more breathing room. There's like 10 to 12 inches on the kick drum, the guitar cabinets. Like I said, we're all live in the room. I'm trying to position us in the best way so that we had line of sight and butt separation. And the bass is totally DI'd off the off his amp. I didn't use a microphone in this case because I was trying to save on weird phase and bleeding, and because we were already kind of all in the same room, the 2 guitar players and the bass player. So I was just trying to make things easy. So yeah, we have our checks, we got our kick snare, our toms, so our rack tom, floor tom, other floor tom, and then our overheads. Another little Albini nod I did was I have the overhead mics. They're not really overhead as you would suspect, where they're kind of pointing down.
Over the shoulder.
They're behind the drummer, and they're kind of peeking over his shoulders. And they're 2 ribbon mics. And I'm casting the figure 8 pickups across the drum kit. And it's still a stereo setup. It's just instead of pointing down above the drum kit and the sound going up towards the mics, I have the mics behind the drummer over his shoulder, kind of mimicking like the drummer each ear almost. So it's more of like maybe a representation of what the drummer's hearing. Yeah, so I gave that a try as well. So there's some things that we did, and I did some basic mixing, but I took off all the goodies. So the only thing we have on there now is just a little goodie called Pi, which is a plugin that helps with phase correlation between instruments, different tracks. So basically I have every track assigned to this Pi bus, but each instrument is in a group. So we have drums, bass, guitar, and the other guitar. So it manages the phase relationship between those and makes sure there is space carved out, I suspect.
Yeah.
I'm not getting too technical, so that they're not...
You can take weight with the phase. We learned that really well in Oregon with Larry Crane. And if you don't carve out the space, there's going to be... You're taking away from something that has so much bite. And, yeah. Sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. So yeah, we got Pi on there. It's a cool tool, because our tracking spaces downstairs are not perfect. They weren't designed as a studio recording space. We do have acoustics in there. We have some things to help with reflections and standing waves and all those bad things that happen acoustically. But these digital tools help quite a bit, especially auto align. So we use this pretty much mostly on the drums. Sometimes I'll use it when we're using 2 microphones on a guitar cabinet. But lately, I've been trying to get better about putting those guitar mics placing those guitar mics so you don't have to do too much phase correction afterwards, that you're simply finding the right locations for those two microphones, and it sounds good on the way in, and you just track it. With the drum kit, sometimes it gets a little trickier. You're trying to move mics around, get everything in phase happy. So we'll throw these on. Mostly, aligning the overheads to the snare, or if we have a room mic to the snare. So, yeah, we got that going on. We got the snare.
Got that going on.
Got auto align on all the drum tracks. And other than that, let's see, maybe take these off.
What are you doing?
You said to take everything off.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, I'm just leaving
Good,
auto
right.
align, and then we have some microphones that can behave. They can emulate other microphones. So I use that type of microphone on the floor toms, on the tom drums, and I think.
I don't mean to cut you off.
No, just on the toms.
Do you want to show them Sonar works?
It is not installed.
What?
That was installed on the system that died. This is when I had to completely rebuild,
Oh
so
my
I haven't had a
gosh,
chance to
everything
set
in
it
my
up.
life is falling apart.
I didn't have a chance to reinstall that yet. Or
So-
license it.
So back to the mic. So I mean, so you did this. I haven't even heard this track yet.
You have not heard this track yet. No.
What kind of shit are you throwing at me?
So typically, on the kick, I have the D112, but it's pulled back like 10 inches.
So BK is obviously you, and yeah, I get it. Dude.
So the snare is our Bear, we typically use lately. The tom drums, our rack and two floors are Verge mics.
Okay.
So I got Verge emulation plugin on here. Feel free to change those around if you want. Our overheads are the fat heads. So the over the shoulder overhead mics are the fat heads, ribbon mics, and those are ran into the cloud, which is what we're actually currently using to amplify these vocal mics to talk on the podcast. But at the time, I used them to boost the signal coming out of the ribbon mics. So that's what the overheads are. The bass is strictly DI. And you'll notice
So
this
out
is
of the
something...
amp or through a box.
I believe right out of the amp, because the
Okay.
bass player he just likes the tone out of his amp. He likes how it
Have you ever
records.
seen the movie Angels in the Outfield, dude? Believing, dude, only happens if the Angels win the World Series.
Yeah, so he likes that tone, so that's how we recorded it. But
My
here's
man,
something else I
Dave
experimented
Green is a
with.
stingy little
Check
man.
this out. So the
He's
bass
actually tall.
DI has auto align on it, but here's what I did.
Oh.
It's not referencing anything. So there's nothing telling the DI to be delayed. What I did was I soloed out the drums, mostly I think the kick, and listened to the kick and the bass. Because if you think about it, the bass DI signal is going to arrive quicker than the sound from the kick drum hitting the mic and then da-da-da. So what I did was I listened to the kick and I listened to the bass, and I pretty much just manually delayed the bass by 88 samples, and I just listened with my ears and was like, because that DI is going to arrive before everything else in the room, because everything else in the room is acoustic, or it's being uttered from a speaker or a drum,
So what
and
does
then it's
DI
in the
stand for?
direct input. So the bass amp is plugged in direct to this, was plugged in direct to the mixer, whereas everything else was being blasted out of a guitar speaker or a drum, and then in the air, and then hitting a microphone. So there's like millimoment, tiny microseconds of a delay there, where the bass player's signal is reaching the computer and being recorded, like moments of light, before everything else. So what I did was I listened to the kick and the bass, and I just kind of scrolled up on, because this plugin allows you to make adjustments by samples or by milliseconds. But sometimes 1 millisecond is too long. You want microseconds. Steve Albini, they have outboard gear by, who makes it? It's one of those reverb companies. Anyways, it's a outboard delay, and he'll make adjustments by microseconds. If he has a DI and a microphone signal, he'll adjust the DI he'll listen manually, not have a plugin compare it for him. He'll just listen and then click that clicker switch by microseconds. So I was like, that's awesome. So I was thinking,
if I were to duplicate this track and delete some microseconds, or no, add to them, if I use a simulator. What's the difference between a room and a simulator? microseconds, right?
Yes.
I just blew his mind.
Well, you mean if you were to run a sample that was triggered off of this track?
Yes.
Then I mean it would I don't know. I imagine that the trigger would react right away. I don't know.
We'll cross that bridge when it comes.
I don't know.
So,
So long story short, I'm just delaying the bass DI by just a tiny amount, and it was manual. I did it by ear, and instead of I'm trying to take some of the things that he did and translate it to what we have as tools, because we don't have an outboard microsecond, digital or analog delay.
yeah.
So I'm taking some of those practices and I'm using the tools we have, such as AutoLine. I'm like, I'm just going to listen and drag the mouse a couple samples until it sounds more like thumpy, like cohesive, like they're like the transients, like the kick and the bass are dun 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 at the same time.
So I'm not going to duplicate it. I'm going to. Okay. All right.
You're saying if you were to duplicate this and then put an amp simulator on it, I think you could just leave it. As long as you listen to it and you feel that whatever I did with the delay is tasteful,
we had the luxury of.
You can change that. I
just
just did it as an experiment. I thought, maybe this sounds better, or I think this sounds better.
I get it, but you're already 10 steps ahead of where normal people are. You know what I'm saying? Like, as far as recording wise, but we've been doing this a long time. You think about things that most people don't. So if I took that signal and like kind of with like drum replacement or auto tune or anything like that, like I haven't even heard this shit yet. But
Well, I'm delaying the bass, so if you do anything to the drums, it wouldn't matter.
nice, okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, because basically I was listening to the kick and I'm delaying the bass DI because the bass DI is arriving before any of that stuff. But we're talking, microseconds. So that's why I was playing around with this. So I ended up with 88 samples.
Mama.
I don't know how that relates to microseconds, but because that plugin doesn't let you adjust microseconds, only milliseconds, and milliseconds is too long in this instance, I feel. So yeah, that's what we got.
But Lave moves too fast.
We got 10 tracks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 drum tracks, a bass track, and 2 guitar tracks, and that's it. It's an instrumental song.
If I kick a kitten, dude, I'm gonna be upset.
The song's called Corda.
What is it?
Corda.
All right, I'm into it. Ready?
Yeah, do you want? All right, I'm gonna do a sound check, see if it's not too hot coming into the
You're too hot.
broadcast.
Can we do this, dude? You can't just hit the fucking. Is it?
All right, so I believe
You could be wrong.
if we go back here, see, there's the drum transients. There's also
Hey, girl. What's happening now? Ha!
so you should be able to hear.
Get up out of that thing. Where you at, Ted? Ha ha! You got it? Oh, God, dude. Here goes the neighborhood. So, all right. Already, I just... Pretty much what I did at this point. I'm just going to hit stop. I don't care about what you guys... You're seeing this... You're seeing the screen. So, dude. How do we get back to reality?
Just minimize that.
Okay.
There you go.
So, I don't want to do anything. Alright, so we stopped the track.
Now that we figured out how to concurrently run our voices and the mix off of our digital audio workstation, so whatever reason, OBS does not pick it up off Cubase. So I had to route it into our physical mixer. Pretty much for it to be on stream, it has to go through the physical mixer.
Oh, yeah.
So
That's why I got the Slim Jim here.
I had to plug in physical cables for you at home to hear us. Well,
What?
both. For you at home to hear the music and us.
That's how we all started.
So yeah, this is a good exercise. A live troubleshooting. I'm just like, and thank you to Brutal Fattery for coming into and helping.
Jam.
I'm just like, it's just not gonna work. It's not gonna work ever.
Damn. So
Our ancestors won't even be able to get it to work.
All right, dude.
But now you can hear us and the music and what we're fiddling around with. So far, let's see, I was doing some text commentary. I was saying that you were taming the cymbals, that you were adding a bunch of stuff to reverb buses. You have a couple effects buses with drum reverb and guitar reverb.
Stop. Collaborate and listen. So now we have the open floor, right? So you got the commentary, dude. No, dude, follow along. So whether we're going to get through this, bud.
What are you talking about?
No, follow along. So what I did is I put everything in order, or what we do. You know, I mean, generally what me and Brendan do, we work as a team. And that's how it all works out. And so you go in here and you get this screen.
They don't see that screen.
No, well, I'm sorry.
They only see the screen on the faders.
I don't know what y'all want from me. So, we're sitting. Ah, there it is. Whoop, there it is.
So there's our tracks. There's our stems, so to speak.
So what I did is I colored them.
Color coordination, organization is key for a successful session.
And you got my man here. Like, I mean, Brendan literally, he's the organization guy. I show up and I will twist a couple things and do what I have to do. But in order to make it all work, it has to be a cohesive system. And in the world that moves so fast, we don't always get that luxury, is what I have to say. And, yeah, at some point in time, so I colored the tracks. So the guitars are...
Green.
The guitars are green.
The cow says blue bass tracks.
Blue bass tracks. And then you have these. And then, so what I did is I made...
And these, what do you mean these? Those are the drums, the percussion. We have orange for the percussion because I just imagine drums as oranges sliced in half and they're round. I don't know.
Well, you just got done jamming with me, and obviously I'm not E.
We used to have
orange.
percussion as purple. But
Is that what it was?
I like orange too. I don't know. Orange works for me.
Well, and finally at this point in time, because we don't have vocals on this track.
No singing.
Nope. It's all instrumental. And so I go over to here, and red is your stereo out. So what I did is I added a mix bus. And
Ms. Buzz.
yeah, so a whole bunch of tomfoolery. Generally what I like to do, or
Think of the mix bus as like you like squirt a bunch of chocolate sauce in your mouth and then you drink milk. That's like making sure that's the last stage of love before it gets to your tummy.
last stage of love, dude.
In this case, last stage of love before it goes out the speakers into your ear holes.
Stop it. Holy shit.
That's your mix bus, your stereo out.
Dude, no wonder they dropped this off to us, dude. Oh my gosh. Oh, Lordy. So, generally speaking, what I like to do for a quick mix that will sum it up into a, say, podcast or a setting where that you can actually enjoy and see and hear. You're going to hear what I'm hearing, and this is the first time listening to it. It's Brendan's band. You know, he was a recording engineer. I mean, that's what he did. And it was him and his band Bios. And so right now I'm in the snare. We're just going to move on down the line. When I get to different places, I'll let you know. Right now I'm going to mute myself. Again, I'm sorry. Smells like blueberry pancake.
Now we can purposely mute ourselves, whereas before we were just muted because of technical difficulties.
Oh, dude. I mean, dude, we're fucking 40 years old, dude. We played fucking Oregon Trail, dude.
I remember playing one at Avoca Elementary, you know, the old Macintosh.
Do you have
or
an
whatever.
Atari?
There was like, I think it was like a very, very, like the first edition of Math Blaster, where you had to seriously, you know, do math problems for the
Shit got
game,
real, dude.
for the game to progress and to
Oh
do
my
anything
God.
cool. And it's like, oh, my race car is not even started past the starting line because I didn't know my times tables and I just got lapped. And like Need for Speed is like Need for Arithmetic, and I suck. Sorry, it's okay. That was pre-Oregon Trail. That was like the school trailer. But anyways, mixing music, percussion, drums.
So we're on the drums. We're gonna rip the tom. I gotta go. I don't know what you're seeing right now.
That screen, the right screen is what they see. You can drag that back over if you want them to see.
No, I know. I just need the visuals. Where you at, buddy? Come here. Yep.
There you go. Yep, you can drag that back. There
All
you
right,
go.
let's dance. So these are just the drums right here, and so you can see at some point where the toms pick it up, and so this is a rack tom. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna. Oh no, I'm not gonna fucking do that. That's for sure.
Edit, undo.
Yeah. So we're just gonna isolate at this point.
Pop. Yeah, the snare's real poppy in this session.
Yeah. So it picks up on everything.
I kind of wish I had a little more snap. I should have pulled the mic like maybe down and back a little bit, but I think it's like kind of above where he's hitting, or like pointing down
I like it.
instead of like more parallel to the drum. But bum 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 bum.
Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. Where'd he go? Did you just ghost me, dude? Man, I dealt with it. Ah, dude, I dealt with enough of that, dude, when I was. I'm just kidding. I'm not. Jesus Christ, dude. Oh, you need Jesus, Brendan. Normally, what I'll do here is with so I changed the mic because we have the luxury. It's awesome. I don't normally like to do that, but they're flatlined. There is no character to each mic. They are literally designed to go in like that. Oh, dude, what would I do without you, boy? So generally what I'll do here is with so in case you haven't realized, so what I'm doing for a quick mix is utilizing a hole-in-one tool. So essentially, you have all that stuff coming in. We have the luxury of a lot better tools, but so you just sit there and you just want to isolate this tom. But a lot of people don't have that, and that's where Brendan is different than I am. So when he mics, he does it for real. Like with me, I'm just like, oh, dude, we can just replace it, and that's part of my downfall. But in order to get the tom sound, so normally what I'll do is I'll change this. This is a 421. And by Sennheiser. So, I mean, we literally can replace the mics. And I'm into it. As much as I bitch about technology and all that stuff, I'm into it. So right now I got an 1176. So all we need is just I'm trying to go by presets just so we can do that. And you just dial it in as you go. I think it's modern. If not, dude, we'll go with the LA2A. Yeah, so here's a snare big. Just boom. So you hear all that. And then you go into your toms. So it's cutting out those frequencies to make it happen. And carving it out in the mix. favorites out of the Slate collection is a API simulation. And you go to Rat Tom.
Whoops.
Hard time. You just dial it in to taste. A little too much. Let's bring in some mud. Yeah. Cut out those
There
symbols.
we go. That preset pulls the 10K up.
But you already have a starting point at that. Right there and there. So boom. That's awesome. I mean, I'm not mad about it. We can cut it all out, but we have limited mics. And that was the fucking snare. Or the, yeah. So that's the tom. So we'll go back to the tom.
You have the snare and the rack tom soloed out. So you're hearing the snare and the tom.
Got nothing there, baby. Oh, yeah. Jam. We're going to go back to the snare. We're going to get nasty. Nasty time. Fun nasty time. Alright, so kick's alright, dude. So now we gotta go back here. So we'll do the same thing. I mean, we'll throw any other mic on it. I mean, it's got a really nice mic on with the bear. I mean, it really does. But you can, at some point...
Well, essentially at this point, you are overlaying a different EQ curve upon whatever, whatever microphone I used has its properties, and then you're putting another model on top of that.
So that's why we get weird, dude. I'm a big fan of that one. Alright, dude, we're just going to leave it alone then. So we're going to go back in there, dude. We'll just go snare big. Alright. Nice. Take it. Snare one.
I think we're just hearing the tom drum, though. Yeah. Is he actually hitting the snare right now?
Yeah. No, so now we're on the snare.
But he's not hitting the snare. There you go. That's the snare.
I knew what was going on. Don't judge me, dude.
Maybe I didn't know what was going on.
Welcome my world, baby.
What drum are we hearing?
I don't like that fucking brightness, dude. Bring that out a little bit more. So with the Schwonk kit, we have a lot of parts to it. So eventually at this point we're getting boomy and not wrong. So we are just hitting these toms. So we're gonna go to the townhouse, which was on the master bus. We're gonna turn up the threshold. Alright. We're gonna bring in the overhead. It's already got a limiter on it. So what I'm gonna do is just balance them out. I'm just gonna duplicate it. I mean, shit, why mess with something then when it's not broke? Same thing, virtual mix rack. Why not? But what we're gonna do is we're gonna throw kink in this. We're going to get rid of all these. No, those were straight up done. All right, never mind. We're going to leave them fresh and pure as the new fallen snow. It's going to be awesome. So generally what I'll do here in this situation is just sold these out. And you get, he's already got some great mics on him. So again, we're gonna go to, like an LA2A. No, that's not it. Let's get like a drum pusher, something that gives it a little bit of love. Roll back a little bit on the gain. Same thing with peak reduction. Roll back on the mix. Salt. And this is a knee plug-in or knee simulator. Soft, overhead vintage. Start off at that point. Now we're gonna do a little trick I learned in the Navy. As Brendan would call it. We're just gonna take a simple compressor. 76, awesome. And just do a drum room. Duplicate it and then sort things out. Boomy in the kick, so we're gonna go to an EQ. Pull it down a little bit. Pull the bass. Get a basic mix going. I am going to take a minute and now we just run the bass. So you're sitting there and you're in the mix. Bass has no reverb. Now we're gonna work on guitars here in a second. You just set yourself up prior to sitting down to a mix, and with Brendan, I would trust him with my life, let alone, making things happen for a recording session. And, he just does things really, really well, and he prepares it. So what you're doing is you don't want to mask anything. You just want to get the basics. And that's why I started using presets a little bit, kind of to show you, you don't have to have a whole wall full of, plugins and stuff. You can do this within your DAW. And I just had the luxury of going to...
Your DAW is your digital audio workstation, also known as just simply the software you use to record and or mix or master.
That's all it is. But if you can't tell from the start, it's a complex series of wires and conditioning and just making it all work. And without Brendan being able to do such things and be able to troubleshoot and do all this, it is something I don't have the patience for. And but it already sounds.
Me either sometimes, as you probably heard. Or couldn't hear. The mics were dead at the time, so I was like, you couldn't hear me bitching. Like, I don't know why it doesn't work. I just know it won't work. Unless I did what I did.
I'm a Buddha bamboo.
Well, it's fine. You just have to physically... I had to physically plug the monitoring station into the Midas mixer because the Midas mixer is what is plugged into the internet interface, which is going to the audio of OBS. And for some reason, OBS will only pick up audio off of the PC being played like, like an MP3 or Spotify or something, not out of the door. I had to wire the door into the Midas mixer.
Hey, baby boy, well, you want to have a little break? I mean, dude, is anyone kind of chilling with us? Is it?
I believe so. Let me see who is. I had it in my chat thing.
Who is up in my chats?
Mickey is supposedly still watching.
All right.
Thank you, honey.
Hey, girl.
And we have Brutal Fattery, our lovely moderator.
Mommy.
So if you want, we can take a short break, and then we can kind of
I just need a
round
heater.
out the guitars, I guess.
Dude, I need a heater and a jeter and a tinkle. Just saying.
Okay.
Don't you, dude? Fire us up, baby.
We'll take a quick break.
No, dude, you got
What do you want to hear?
some bios, bud. All right. This is how the magic happens. I can't call it.
do you want to hear?
Can I call it the stabbing cabin? Yes. Nice. Oh shit! Here goes the neighborhood, baby. Let's dance. Come on now. Let's go.
I've taken over. At least for now. Randy's still taking a break. Hey, he is a little short, isn't he? I got to really slouch to get on his mic. Okay, so let's see, where were we? We're back.
What? We're back. You throw me in like that, dude?
Yeah.
Thanks for coming off the bench, coach.
That song, our intermission music was over.
I'm not fucking saying. So we're gonna be running it. So we got the reverb and shit. Fucking Jesus. Drop this off at the door, Jake. Who does that? Oh, I gotta sort myself out. So we're gonna go with the right one actually first, do with Peters. Because already right now I can tell with the waveform that Dave's gonna be an issue. So we're going to go to.
He's plenty loud.
Is he?
Yeah, he's.
Don't even fucking yell at me. All right, fine. We're gonna fucking leave it.
Listen before you look at a waveform. Listen to the waveform.
You're not wrong.
It's because of his tone. I think his tone is why that waveform is like that.
This is Brennan just ripping like it's Christmas, baby. Yeah, to be honest with you, his tone is just fantastic. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna throw compressor on.
I'm pretty sure that's the Audix mic.
Nice.
I think it's the Audix and it's 10 inches away.
I mean, I wasn't mad.
Single speaker.
So, I mean, you just get like a standard. Dude, I mean, I was grabbing electric guitar. Same thing with the EQ. You already have something that's already just working with what it is. And Brennan already did some EQ prior. To give that a little thicker tone. So we're gonna bring in Dave. Same thing. Why not? Why?
Nice tone.
You gotta capture what's already there. So that's where it's at. So let's deal with this bass a little bit. Alright. It's already essentially sounding good. I mean, it's just direct in. Great sounding bass. Great sounding player. Just a little slappy there, but I mean, you're gonna have that. And
We can put the declicker on it.
no, yeah. I mean, there's so many options. So I mean, you're sitting there, you're looking at our screen. Like, there's
Declicker
no-
might help, like with those weird little.
So we're gonna go with Brendan's suggestion. You know, what is it?
The declicker is actually going to be a not Steinberg. It is a isotope.
Stop it. See, that's one of those ones I don't really go to until a mass, right? So we're gonna declick it. We're gonna make it a little less snappy.
Drag it over to the screen so folks at home can see it.
So this is RX.
All right.
And you might be able to.
I don't think there's any. There's no.
There's
Yeah,
no
it's
presets.
just
You-
that.
like,
Yeah.
everything's between you
So
and God.
what I do is, let's see. I think there's the algorithm. So there's single band, like that drop down menu. You can go with low latency. That might be helpful with the mix. Yeah. We don't need it to go nuts. I just kind of want to
And you already
soften those kind of grumbly,
Yeah.
sounds coming.
So you
from
already
the-
see it at 10 clicks repaired. That's just easing your...
Yeah, that's not.
And
Yeah,
as
that's
you
not super
go,
aggressive. Yeah, there you go. 21 clicks.
And it keeps on going.
Yeah, I want to retain the tone. I don't want to let it take too much away.
Exactly.
So let's listen for a second.
All right.
Hold up. I got a part coming.
Hold up. Hey.
Now bypass it real quick. We'll listen to it. You know what I found? If you turn that back on, and then the button next to it, the bypass, there's no delay in audio. You can click it on and off, and there's no stoppage. There's a kind of, I don't know.
The boy tells me something new every day. So I mean, same thing.
It kind of like rounds it out a little bit. You don't hear those little crispy sounds of the, I guess, of the, the pick or the string. The string.
I'm about to just fuck everything up, especially with a signal that I'm gonna go with Slate just because it's an easy one. You can do it with.
I guess I'd call it string rattle because the DI is getting more of that.
Yes, it's electricity that's picking up through the pickups and all that stuff. Bass is a very, very powerful instrument.
Yeah, there's a lot of energy there.
Yes. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in, since it's a DI, I'm gonna replace it with a mic.
There you go. Yeah. You can put the D112 on it or that.
Well, so you just look at the EV, the RA20. I mean, they're wherever. And then you can. I mean, you can go D112. You can more bass oriented that actually circulate it. But I'm going to try to get the full spectrum here.
I like both those. I like that one.
Which one? That one?
Yeah.
The EV? Let's stick with it. So, and then we'll do another.
It's got a good mid punch.
The
Low mid punch.
compressors, I mean, obviously you can't tell. I'm a huge fan of the 1176. I mean, it's just a monster. And what you can do here too, especially with bass. We're giving it a preamp sound. Here's an Eve. Give it a little bit of dirt. So we're not going to do an amp. It's awesome. It works. So I normally compress before I EQ. This is what I do. Dude, I'm a weirdo. So fat warm. Alright. You're so
Careful.
I'll pull her back. Pull her back, Jane. Alright.
Careful.
So one of my favorites on bass is definitely a Neve simulator. In case you can't tell. It's the rock bass. We're gonna go back. We're gonna hear it.
Yeah, watch out for your low energy. Also, our mixing room has issues with the low mids, so sometimes we hear bass louder than it actually is because the room will accentuate that. So bass is always very tricky to get balanced correctly in general, but in our mixes especially just because our room is not perfect. I think it has a bump in 100 hertz or something.
Nobody's perfect, Brendan.
Nope.
All right, so we're going to start. You want to do drums? So now we got our basic layout done. And all it is, I mean, you already had the panning, you already have the effects buses, you already have the main bus, all that stuff. So what you're going to do is you're just going to season the taste. And that's literally all it is. So I'm going to start from scratch. Let's see what we can get into. I'm just going to move the bass or the kick drum out. Just because it's there. We'll do snare. Rack. Floor.
There's a lot of low end in that second floor tom. Like just ambience wise, when you pulled up floor tom 2, there's yeah.
That's why I bought her. That's why she's called Thor.
I mean, you don't gotta do that. It's just
Generally, I'll bring the bass in right around the kick drum. Okay, dancing right there. All right, you're cute. So I'm bring up Davo. I'm gonna bring up Brendan. Guitar's a little bit loud. Bring him down. The bass is still a little poppy. That's by no means a finished product. That's a quick mix. I mean, that's generally what we'll do here. Is we'll do a general direction on what you want your sound to be. It's not our sound. It's not a. It's experience. Talking.
Just trying to make a accurate representation of how you sound
Exactly.
in the rooms. Trying to capture accurately, and then later in the studio you can add harmonics, attenuate those tones, add some, compression.
You EQ, but when you have great sounding rooms from the get-go, that makes everything go.
They're still a work in progress, but yeah, they're getting there.
But, I mean, some of the shit shows. I mean, the first fucking Mountain Babies albums, those were all done in the basement on Old Squire. Dude, they were a disaster. And I had some, a couple of rap albums that came out of there, just fucking awesome. But the neighbors were assholes.
You guys are the podcast.
Yeah. Why? What's up?
Just wondering.
Let's go. Let's dance. But yeah, it's to have a place to create. Like we were talking about that, with the Sans Booze. And to be able to do what you do.
That whole time we did not have it on screen capture.
It was what? So it was literally just me.
It was on us. They were hearing you mix, but they couldn't see anything you were doing for the last that last segment.
Jesus.
Because I left it on this view.
Jesus.
So sorry, folks. You were hearing what was happening.
I got one good idea. That's why I need.
Okay.
I need two screens.
I don't think anyone is watching this intently and being like, "How is Randy clicking on stuff?"
How is Randy doing this? I wouldn't fucking advise anybody to do that.
Well, folks, we're probably going to wrap it up here. Thanks so much for tuning in or watching the YouTube rerun. It probably will be edited because of all the technical difficulties we had in the beginning there with the merging of what's being played on the mixing versus our voices. I had to do some physical wiring here in the back of the mixer to make it work.
Oh, brother, you told me you shit the bed?
We learned some
I shit
things.
the bed. We shit the bed. Oh, yeah. This
No
is
worries.
why, dude. Next one, dude. We're number 7. If you make it to 7, dude, you're what? Gold?
He said that most don't make it past 7, so
Fuck them, dude.
we
We're
should at
doing
least
8.
do
We're doing
8.
8 out of spite.
8 out of spite. Okay, so we'll be
Shit, archive me, dude.
Archive you?
Yeah, no, I'm not.
Archive.org.
I'm not even messing with it, dude. I've already lost too many things that I've done.
Oh man. Well, folks, we'll perhaps try another maybe mixing with the two-headed dog, and we'll have all the kinks worked out with the video and the audio, and hopefully you could hear the different things that are going on with the mix at home, and listen on headphones. I bet that would be interesting. You probably would hear a lot of the nuances of the changes that are being done.
We call those Philadelphia mindfucks.
Especially with what I was saying earlier about harmonics.
I was saying those.
Not harmonics. What am I talking about here? What's the word? Saturation.
Yes.
That was the word I was looking for, because when you record in the digital realm, it's sometimes very sterile. It's like a microphone straight to a preamp, straight to an audio analog to a digital converter, and you're not getting that nice goo of like you're going through, a nice class, like a Neve preamp or some nice tube preamp or something to give it, some love or just a nice preamp that will just very accurately just gain up your signal off the mic.
Bring it up, baby.
I don't know.
It's not a gas station fucking erection pill, dude. It takes some time.
But what I was getting to with the saturation, but yeah, that's essentially what you're doing here. If I go back to our screen share, and then we'll say goodbye. Man, so like this right here, this FG73. That's like a Neve preamp, essentially, right?
Yes.
That's just a knob.
Going through it, and
you're playing pretend that the mic is plugged into this, and you're cranking it. Your virtual drive, they're calling it. But yeah, it adds some color. It gives some color to these digital tracks because the digital realm is very sterile, as opposed to. I don't know. I'm gonna stop talking.
I like imperfections and perfections.
Kind of regurgitating things I've already heard, but.
Dude, Brendan already did a fantastic job recording this.
Oh, thank you.
All I did was just sit down and,
just spend some time on how we were arranged in the room and making sure that the microphones were the microphones are, pointing what they need to point, and their negative space is pointing at something that they don't want to pick up, like the other person's amp. So, like Peters and our amps were pointing at each other, but the microphones were, opposite. So, but we were in the corners, and then the drummer's in his own room, and the bass player's in the other side of the room. But it was DI.
So even if you're coloring in your life, if you get a little bit of yellow in that blue, you're good. It's not a bad thing. You need to embrace the rooms. You need to embrace where everything really happened and came to fruition. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
So, you're literally taking a sound, which, like Brendan always describes it the best, is air and energy. And these things are...
Sound is air being compressed and expanded. Compression and expansion waves.
So a lot of times...
You
lose the
air
game
pressure
before you start because the room is not acoustically tuned. And it doesn't have to be. That's what makes the difference between what I hear in my head and what, someone is like, hey, dude, I can sing. Dude, I thought I could sing, and it's like, one talk over the line, sweet Jesus. No, dude, I'm not a fucking singer.
Me neither, which is why I'm in an instrumental band.
Well, but, I don't know. I don't get it. It's awesome.
It's a never-ending journey.
Yes.
Well, folks, we're going on 2 hours here.
Oh,
and
shit.
Appreciate everyone tuning in and saying hello. And if my wife is watching, I'll be home soon. I'm excited to see that cross stitch. And until we see you next time, folks, be well, be safe, and keep your stick on the ice.
Tell Harry I said that's a good boy. That's a boy. What's up, Rory? How's you doing? You're a pretty girl.
Bye-bye.
It's International Dog Day, dude.
International Dog Day.
Yeah.
Hey, we got a heart from Mickey and Pluto.
That's my dad. I miss you already.
Okay, bye.